Dizzy, and this is Dizzy Quilts and Sews. In today's video, we are going to chat about all of my August 2022 projects. So the first two items I finished were meant to be a set. So I was going to wear them together and separately, but then when I tried them on as a set, I got some really strong PJ vibes, like pajama vibes. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be wearing those together. But I have worn them separately a few times this month or since I finished them. So first up is the Ashton top. Now I made this top and the matching shorts out of the Beyond the Pink Door Think Pink subscription box from May. Wow, that's quite the mouthful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous chambray that's embroidered in white, and it's beautiful. It was really nice to sew. It feels nice. It's lightweight, and I thought it would make a really cute set. So I didn't have quite enough fabric to also make the facing on the Ashton, so I used a white viscose or rayon fabric that I had in my stash. And for the top, now I've made the Ashton a few times, and the one that I'm still wearing quite a bit was a little snug in the bust. And I don't know why sometimes I make the decisions I make, but instead of simply sticking to my size 16 and maybe grading to an 18 waist and hips, I just upsized to an 18. So I sized up, which is great for the waist and hips. It fits really, really nice, but it is now a little bit big on the shoulders here, and it gapes at the armhole. So what I should have done is stuck to my size 16 and do a full bust adjustment. Now, Helen's Closet's patterns are drafted, so the curvy range is drafted for a D cup, and I'm really a double D cup, so I should have done an FBA, and then this tank top would have fit me perfectly. I mean, it fits. It bugs me that you can, like, depending on how I'm positioned, you can sort of peek at my bra on the side. Like, it really does bug me, but whatever. I wore it. It's fine, and it's really, really cute. So that was project number one. Now to go with the top, I made a pair of Belize shorts by Itch to Stitch. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that the Belize shorts are now my TNT for woven shorts. And I did the exact same adjustments to this pair that I made for my last pair. So it's a size 18. I made a low seat adjustment by about a 1/4 inch, so that I didn't have all of those wrinkles under my bum. And yeah, they fit me great. They're super comfortable, and I've worn them a ton with a white t-shirt. I wore them with my green Concord tee. Love my new shorts. So projects 1 and 2 were pretty successful. And I mean, I'm wearing both, so that's success in my books. I'm just not wearing them together. And the top could fit a little bit better, but you know, both are a success. Number 3 was for my daughter. So I made her a hug hoodie by Made It Patterns in a fabric I purchased from Blackbird Fabrics. So it's a fleece, it's a bamboo fleece that I purchased at during one of the remnant sales. So I had 2 pieces of this fleece, and they both totaled about 1.3 or 1.4 yards. So I managed to make her the hug hoodie out of it, and I used a white French terry scrap that I had to make the bottom band. I didn't have enough, unfortunately, to make the sleeve cuffs or the lining of the hood, but I did manage to make the bottom band with the French terry, and I think her hoodie came out really, really cute. Now my daughter is tiny, but she did want it a little bit oversized so that she can wear stuff underneath it. So I made her a straight size 8 with basically no adjustments. I didn't shorten or lengthen it. I just made it as is. And she is very, very happy. I did manage to get one picture of her. Like, my daughter works full time and she works on weekends sometimes at a second job, and she's really busy. So it took her almost a week to come and pick this up. And then I was like, okay, I need a picture. I need a picture. So finally I got myself a picture of her in the hoodie. But yeah, she's been wearing it a ton and she really loves it. And that fabric, this bamboo fleece from Blackbird, is a dream to sew, to wear. It is so soft. They have it. I got an email from them and they have it back in stock now. So I definitely think I'm going to have to get myself at least a couple of meters of this fabric and make myself another sweater of some kind with it. It's just so, so good. Next is the Kineton dress. So if you've been around for a bit, you heard all about the drama that was the Kineton dress muslin during one of my Friday Sews videos, and I'll link to that video below. I talked to you about a muslin I made with an old sheet that had been accidentally bleached. So the sheet was super ugly. And I thought it would be perfect to make a fit muslin with. I just wanted to make sure the dress would fit me and that I would like the style on me. So the dress fit. I mean, it needed a couple of adjustments, but overall, I just hated it. I hated the muslin on me. So I showed a few pictures and a video during that Friday Sews video and a few people in the comments made some really good suggestions. So somebody said, maybe if you make a belt, you're going to like it better. Maybe if you make it with a nicer fabric, even if it's not your final version, you may like it better. Somebody even said, my gosh, that sheet is so ugly, it hurts my eyes, kind of thing, which it really was horrendous. So I decided to just look at the muslin as a fit muslin and identify the changes I was going to make, and then cut into my fabric and just hope for the best. So I ended up adding 1.5 inches to the bodice. I think where the elastic waist hit me is just not the best for me. So I lengthened the bodice a little bit, so by 1.5 inches, and I did a 1/2 inch narrow shoulder adjustment, which is something that I have to do for most patterns now. So 1/2 inch narrow shoulder adjustment, 1.5 inches added to the waist, and nothing else. Like, I did my size 18 EF front, graded to a 20 waist and hips, which is what I do for all cashmerette patterns. And then I got cutting into my precious viscose poplin that I had gotten from Blackbird Fabric, and it was not inexpensive. I mean, it's well worth it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous fabric and a lot of fun to sew. But yeah, not inexpensive. So I really wanted the dress to work out. When I finished the dress, I put it on and loved it. So the fact that the shoulders were now falling in the right place, that the elastic waist was now at the right place, and it was a lot prettier to look at. I was like, wow. And I did make a belt for it, but in the end, I ended up not wearing it. I liked the dress just as is. So I wore it to my sister's 50th surprise birthday party and had a ton of compliments on it. I felt pretty. It was nice and swishy. It was a hot evening. So yeah, it was so, so nice and so perfect. I was so pleased with my dress. So, lesson learned, and I said that in one of my Friday Sews videos, Make a muslin. Definitely make a muslin if you've never made a pattern before, or if it's a new pattern company for you. But use, if you use really ugly fabric, just focus on fit, not anything else. Don't focus on the style. Don't focus on how you look in it. The color was all wrong for me. Just check for fit. And then either use nicer fabric for a second, like a wearable muslin, or cut into your fashion fabric, because as much as I hated the muslin for this dress, I just love the final dress. So there you go. So that was a huge, huge success. And now I have like a ton of Kineton planned, some with long sleeves, more with short sleeves that I can wear a jacket on top of. Yes, I'm super, super excited. Next was a small project inspired by Adam from Adam Sews. And oh my gosh, I'm now forgetting who it was. Oh goodness, I feel so bad about this, but another YouTuber that I follow made the slippers, and I was like, oh yes, I remember Adam's tutorial for these, so I really should get them. So this is a pattern by Once Upon a Stitch, or yes, Once Upon a Stitch. Let me check my notes. No, Stitch Upon a Time. And the pattern is called Midnight Slippers. So I pulled up Adam's tutorial and followed his steps to the letter, didn't even follow the pattern at all. And I ended up with these cute, cute slippers. The only thing is I used a quilting cotton for the outside of the slipper, even the bottom, so the sole, and a sweater knit for the inside. Now the sweater knit is perfect for the inside. It's nice and soft, but I know that the quilting cotton is going to get pretty used. It's not like the sturdiest fabric for a bottom of a slipper. So I know my slippers are going to get torn or are going to be basically unwearable fairly soon. But I have some heavy duty canvas in my stash. So I will be making more of these slippers, and I'm going to use the canvas for the sole, hoping that they're going to last a little bit longer. And I'm going to make a bunch of these for when people come over to our house in the winter, especially the kids and grandkids. They complain that our house is very cold all the time, so now they can wear some of the slippers I make to be more comfortable. And I also plan on making these slippers for Christmas presents to like my mom and my grandmother and so on. So it's a great little pattern. It's fun to put together. Definitely follow Adam's tutorial. It's great. And be careful with your measurements because the pattern runs a tiny bit small. So I measured my actual foot. And then I looked at the pattern, and the pattern piece says, use this for feet up to 10.75 inches or something, which should have been way big enough for my feet. And my big toe is right up against the seam at the top. So definitely size up if you do decide to make these. But they're a really fun project, and I think pretty cute slippers. Next was the project for the June Think Pink subscription box. So the box contained or had a gorgeous, gorgeous rainbow stripe cotton jersey that was super soft. And oh my gosh, the quality of the fabric was amazing. And because it's stripes and I really didn't want to have to match all these stripes too much, I picked a pattern that was going to be very, very simple to put together. I chose the Cedar Dolman by Cashmerette. I've made that before a couple of times. I like the fit on me. I like the look on me. But I changed it up a little bit for this version. And instead of using the facing, like the pattern pieces for the facing, I decided to just use some knit binding that was also in the Think Pink box with that fabric. And it looks gathered, and I think that's because I cut the band too small. So basically the neckline ended up gathered into the band, which I really don't like. What I should have done is measure my neckline, cut the band the exact size, sew it on, and then turn it inside and top stitch, basically like a facing. So, I mean, I don't hate the top, but it's not exactly what I wanted. I am wearing it. It's fine. It's cute, but I was a little bit disappointed. And I mean, I could just take it off and do it again. And maybe I will. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I might do that. But yeah, I love the fabric, and the top is nice and roomy and very, very comfortable. Next is a new Concord tee in a gorgeous bamboo jersey from Core Fabrics. Now, when I bought this fabric, I also bought a green color, and I made my last Concord tee out of that green bamboo jersey. So I knew that this burgundy one would also be a Concord because I love my green one so much. So I did the exact same thing with this one that I did with the green one. I did the short sleeves with the cuff. I shortened the bodice by 3 inches, and I did a size 18 EF front, graded to a 20 waist and hips. So the exact same thing I did with the green. And I'm super, super happy with my new burgundy top. The one thing I did differently is on my green one, the neckband wasn't great. There was some gathering and some pulling in places. And after pinning the neckband on my burgundy one, I realized that the ease or the extra fabric needed to be eased in between each pin after matching the notches and stuff just wasn't even. And that's probably why I was getting some pulls and some gathers and things. So instead of following the pattern, what I did is I ended up using the quarter method. So you put pins at, in the neckband, dividing it in 4 sections, even sections. And then you do the same thing for your neckline, putting a pin, in all 4 spots. And then you match the pins and sew, stretching the neckband a little bit to ease the fabric onto it. And that means the fabric is going to be eased or distributed very evenly around the neckline. And the results were perfect. Like, I have a super flat, very, very nice neckband, and I'm super, super happy with my Concord. Now, I had a little bit under a meter. Did I have under? No, I had about 1.2 meters left of that burgundy fabric. And instead of just putting it back in the stash, I decided to make myself a new tank. So I went through my pattern stash and pulled out the Seamwork Clark pattern. Now, I made 2 or 3 of those a couple of years ago. Actually, more than a couple of years ago. So before the pandemic. So in 2020 or 2019 or something. And when I pulled out my pattern, I had printed a size 14, which I'm pretty sure would not fit me. Now, I don't own those Clarks anymore, so I couldn't try them on to see how big I needed to size up or how much I needed to, adjust the pattern. So I just reprinted a size 18 based on my measurements. And the Seamwork patterns in the curvy range are drafted for a double D cup. So I knew that I wouldn't need to do an FBA. Size 18 should fit me pretty well. And it does. I'm very, very happy with my Clark. The only thing is, because of the little bit of fabric I had to sacrifice some of the length on the pattern. So it's a little bit shorter than what I would have wanted. I mean, the pattern is short And the last time I made it, I lengthened it by 1 inch. I just couldn't do that this time around. I didn't have enough fabric. So it's a tiny bit short. But all in all, it's yeah, it's a nice tank top, and it's really fun to sew and put together. It's a nice swing style. So although it's fitted at the bust, it then swings out at the waist and hips, and yeah, very, very comfy. The V, I don't know if it's the fabric, because the fabric is a heavier bamboo jersey. Although it's lightweight, it feels heavy. It's got heft to it. So I don't know if that's why, but the V-neck, I think, is a little bit low. Like, I don't know that I'd be comfortable wearing it on a video call type thing. So when I make this again, I think I'm going to redraft the V so that it's a tiny bit, maybe a 1/2 inch higher than what this one is at. So, but yeah, it's a minor thing. I love my new Clark. So yeah, so that's it for a new Concord and a new Clark tank. And those were all of my makes for August 2022. I would love to hear your thoughts. Which one was your favorite? Have you made any of the patterns? I would love to know what your thoughts are on these. I hope you're having a great week. Please leave me a like on your way out if you like the video, and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you soon.